Hi everyone, my name is Colleen and I'm from Beacon, and today I'm doing a beginner Pilates, a little bit of element of bar class, B-A-R-R-E to this Pilates. We'll be doing starting off standing, and we'll kind of be improvising for our bar work. So the idea is we'll do some of our work standing and some of our work on a mat today. So all you need is something sturdy. I do have a bar here, so I'm going to use it for a little bit of support, but you can just as easily substitute this with a sturdy chair as well. So before we use that, we'll kind of warm up a little bit today. So feet just outside hip width here. We'll just start by stretching up a little bit, just kind of opening up, getting ready for our Pilates practice. Nice deep breath. Taking the chin towards the ceiling, extending through the sternum. Good, bring it up and out and up. And on this one, just bring one arm down, kind of leaning over to one side. Slowly come back up. Take it to the other side. And back. And down. One more time on the other side. And back. And down. Good. Slowly come back up. Both arms down. We'll just start with some simple heel raises. I know it's hard to see my feet. So we're just lifting up, kind of working through the feet. Part of this workout, you'll feel the different movements in the feet, distributing the weight, and coming back up. Good. And now shifting and putting the weight in the heels, can you lift the toes up and lift the heels up? So you're kind of rocking back and forth so that when we find that neutral standing, it'll be somewhere between the heels and the toes, distributing that weight, kind of waking the feet up. So when we come back to stand, I want you to imagine now the weight's equally distributed on the balls of the feet, the pinky toe, and the heels. And we'll just do a simple, just a slight squat and bring it back. Slight squat, squeezing the glutes. Feeling your feet, if they feel like they want to roll a little bit, can you plant the feet down? Kind of like there's a string in the center of the arch of the foot and it's pulling down towards the floor. Lengthening through the crown of the head as we come up and come back. Good. So carefully find your bar, whatever you're using for a little bit of support for this standing part of our Pilates. So for this part, we'll put the weight in their stable leg. I have it on my right leg. Knee is softly bent, so we don't want to lock that knee out. The knee is always softly bent. Pulling up through the crown of the head, so you're getting a little bit of length in the spine here. You're supporting yourself with a bar, heavy chair, whatever you have. And we're just going to take the leg out to the side and bring it back. So again, knee is soft on that stable leg, and it's just a lift. So it's not a kick, just a lift. So think about the hip lifting and pulling back, and think about keeping that length in the spine. So we're not tipping, it's not a karate kick. Good. Hand can be on the hip. You can softly hold the arm out to the side as long as you're pulling that shoulder down away from your ear. And focus on your grip to whatever is sturdy here. If it's a death grip, can you loosen up that hand a little bit to have more of this stable leg doing the work? Out and in. Now we'll add a little bit of a point. So we'll point out, flex in. Point out, flex in. Same things we do kind of on our back or on our side for Pilates, and we're just starting off standing up. Two, and one. And now let's add a little bit of a circle. We'll kind of circle forward. Again, staying stable on that sturdy side here that's supporting us. And two, and one. You start to feel it in that leg you're standing on, I know. Reversing that circle. And 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Start to feel that a little bit. Switching that side, so switching your chair, your bar, whatever you're using for support. And again, keeping that stable leg soft, knee slightly bent. Just lift and out. Lift and out. So notice, does it feel different on one side or the other? Is one side a little weaker? So this is just for the abductors. You're pulling out and pulling in, working in the hip. Knee is soft. focusing on kind of just that light grip to your sturdy surface here. And now we'll add that point and flex. So point and flex, point and flex, flex, point, flex. Keeping that knee, that sturdy leg soft. 2, still pulling up through the crown of the head, and now add that circle with that leg. So this sturdy side is kind of anchoring you. You probably have the ability to make this circle a lot bigger, but you wouldn't be able to stay still on that stable side. And now, can you reverse that? Take it out. Take it out. 3, 2, 1. Good. Let's carefully switch sides. So now we're going to take this, we'll bend the knee a little bit here, and we're going to take that leg back, just like you're pushing the foot back. You're lengthening through the front of the hip flexor here and bring it forward. So this is, we'll do this move on the mat as well on our bellies, but adding a little more element of balance and lengthening through the spine. So as that foot goes back, you're still trying to get a little bit taller here. Focusing on that grip, strengthening this stable leg. So a lot going on, lengthening through the hip flexor, working in the glutes and hamstring of that leg that's moving, but also strengthening that stable side. So Pilates is, a lot of it is about what's active during the move. Holding one side of the body as the other side's moving. 2, and now just pulses, like you're pushing that heel towards the wall behind you. So different because I'm not squared off to my iPad. 3, 2, 1. Nice. Switching sides. Same thing, bending that foot, flexing the foot, so you get, on that flexed foot, you get a little more length in the Achilles tendon and the calf there. Flexing that foot, take it back and bring it forward. Push it back, knee stays bent, bring it forward. Still getting a little bit taller out of the crown of the head. And back, back. Keeping that stable knee soft. And 4, 3, 2, and 1. And now just pulses here. 2 and 1. Very good. Okay, so switching one more thing, standing up here. So we're doing a little, just a very soft plie. So we'll just slightly turn the feet out. Here, come back so you can see. So softly turning the feet out. There's a space between the heels, and I just want you to imagine that there's a wall behind you. You've got your pole or your chair for support, and you're just sliding down the pole and then pulling up like there's a string through the center of the body, and it pulls up. So we'll come down and then pull up, drawing the inner thighs together, down. That other arm can be soft. So the knees are tracking towards the toes. Tailbone comes down towards your heels, and then the crown of the head goes up towards the ceiling. So it's all moving on that same kind of imaginary line. Down and up. So we're not tipping forward. Chest stays lifted. Your heart stays towards the ceiling. Shoulders are back and down, and they're relaxed. So they're not up by your ears. So working on the inner thighs. And 4, 3, 2. This is similar to a frog that we do in Pilates. We'll do that on our back. And now we'll lift up, heels down, knees apart, and back. Heels up, heels down, knees apart, and back. Are those shoulders still relaxed? And down and back. Up and down and back. Up, down, down. Up, down, and back. Up, down, down, and back. Good. We'll switch sides. Change our footing just a little bit, coming to a little bit wider stance here. And same thing, we'll take it out, we'll hold that arm soft and squeeze back in. Take it out, squeeze back in. So imagine that imaginary wall behind you and you're sliding up and down of it, up and down the wall. So the head and the hips stay in contact with the wall the whole time. Out and in, out and in, out and in. Now we'll add that heel raise. So we'll come down, lift, we'll switch it this time. Up, down, down, lift, up, push down, down, lift, up, come down, down. Are those shoulder blades down? Down, lift, up, and down, down, up, down, lift, up, down, lift, up, down, lift, up, down. Very good. So bring it back. We'll finish up with some work, kind of standing with some bar work too. But now we'll take it down for some Pilates work. So we'll come down to the mat. And let me put this down. I'm going to turn this light on. I cannot get my lighting right today so you can see me. Okay. So coming down, kind of starting with some of the work we did on the bar, carefully coming down to your mat. So, and let's just bring the knees up to start, just working on a little bit of abdominals before we go right into that leg work. So pulling the navel towards the spine, arms at your side. I want you to take one foot towards the floor and come back up just for this marching move. Keeping the abdominals engaged, so only lower the foot as far as you can, keeping the low back connected to the mat. So if you lower here and that low back starts to come up, don't lower the foot any further. Down and back. So we'll inhale and exhale. Inhale, exhale. Three, 2, and 1. Now we'll bring both knees up. Bring the fingertips to the head. We'll inhale. Exhale, round head, neck, shoulders up. Keep the space between your chin and chest. You always have the option of keeping the head, neck, shoulders down here. And we'll go back to that marching move. So we'll inhale, exhale. And now we'll add on to this. We'll take both feet down, a little harder to do. If that's too difficult or you're feeling it in the low back, just go back to the single legs. And 3, 2, and 1. Both feet down, head, neck, shoulders come down. We're going to start with some leg circles. We kind of started this on the bar. We'll do it on the back and on our sides today. So keeping one knee bent, we'll extend one leg up to the ceiling. We're going to lower that leg down, circle out and around, and back to start. So just like when we were on the mat, I want you to focus on the sturdy side of the body, the active side. I want you to think about the opposite shoulder and opposite hip planting into that mat so that the length that that leg is getting is really from the hip. So it's pulling from the hip. I think I just switched directions there, sorry. Lower down, circle out. Reaching the leg away from the body, and now we'll switch directions. We'll take it out to the side and back. So you're trying not to roll your body into that leg. You're trying to hold it into the mat, pressing your shoulder blades and the hips down as that leg comes out and around. You can press your arms into the mat, and sometimes that helps to kind of keep your body actively pressing on the mat. And 2, and 1. Good. Now let's try the same thing on the other leg. So we'll take the other leg up to the side. We'll take it, we'll lower down, circle out, and back. You can inhale at the top, exhale as the leg comes out. Think about this opposite leg. You can press a hand there if you like, and see if you can keep the opposite knee pointing towards the ceiling. If you feel like it rolls out as that leg moves, place your hand there and hold it out. Hold it still. And 2, and 1. And now we'll reverse directions, just like we did when we were doing the bar work. Out to the side. So for the breathing, you can inhale at the top, exhale into the circle. Inhale, Exhale. 3, 2, and 1. Good. I'm bringing the knees in just for a quick stretch here. So we'll inhale. Exhales around head, neck, shoulders up. Keep the hands right outside the knees. We'll bring the arms overhead, circle out. That chair's kind of in my way. And then come up for a little bit more of an engagement. Put chin towards the chest, keeping a space there. We'll reach out. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. 3, 2, and 1. Good, bring the feet down. So we'll do some side work, just like we did standing up on the bar, carefully rolling over to your side. Doesn't matter which one, we're going to switch. So we'll start keeping the arm underneath our head just for support, lengthening the legs out. We'll bring the legs forward just a little bit. And we'll do that forward and back, kind of coming back to the circle too. So we'll lift the top leg up. We'll point the toe forward, flex the foot back. I want you to flex that bottom foot. So just like when we were standing up, that bottom foot is active. So that length is coming from the reach from this hip right here. And the bottom leg and the bottom hip are not helping with that range of motion. So you have the range of motion to take the foot up here, most of us, and take it back. But as you do so, you rock on the bottom hip. So you've lost that alignment of the hips. So keeping the hips stacked, you can even put your hand here to just kind of feel that. And now point forward, flex back. So it's a lot different. And keeping that bottom leg active, we're working both sides. So lengthening through the front, reaching out of the hip, actively working the bottom leg as well because it's flexed and it's pressing into the mat. And 2, and 1. Good. Bring the legs back together and let's bend that front, the top leg, and let's flex the foot just like it was when you were when you were standing. Flex the bottom foot so it's active, and we're going to push the bottom foot back. Bring the knee forward. So your range of motion is definitely different laying on the mat than it was standing. You can't go back quite as far at the top foot, but you lengthen through the hip flexor here, and you can still feel the glute and the hamstring are engaging. And put your hand on your top hip to kind of steady yourself here a little bit. And out. Squeeze. Good. Good. Squeeze. Take it back. And 2, and 1. Good. Lengthening out, and we'll do the out and the in on our side, just like we did kind of on the back and on our standing. So we'll, keeping the legs, we'll stay in the stacked position, we'll lift up and flex down. That bottom foot is flexed, so it's kind of flexing, it's engaging to the floor here, and sweep up, squeeze down. Same thing we did standing, we still want that active work in the bottom leg, and still getting that length in the hips. Reach up, good, and reaching away, good. 2, and 1. Good, very good. So carefully come up and we'll switch sides. So switching the legs here. So same thing, we'll start with the legs forward just a little bit for this first one. Hips are still stacked. Hand can be on the floor, hand can be on the mat. We'll lift that top leg up and we'll sweep forward and sweep back. We're going to flex that bottom foot so that it can stay active. That chair's in my way again, that's okay. There you go. Sweep. Good. Hips are still stacked, lengthening out. And 3, 2, and 1. Good. Lengthening the legs so we're kind of in a straight position. We'll bend that foot back. Come forward a little bit here. Bending that foot back, we'll flex the bottom foot, we'll flex the top foot, and we'll push the hip back and bring it forward. Pushing the hip back, bring it forward. So keeping your hips stacked. So resist the urge to kind of roll onto the hip. Imagine that you're glued to your mat. So kind of your shoulder blades resting on it, your bottom hip. So it's a little harder to do. You don't have the complete range of motion that we had standing up. We'll do this laying down too. And now we'll add a little bit of pulses. I don't know if I did that on the other side. And 3, 2, and 1. Good. Now, laying the legs straight this time, we'll do the lengthening out. So we'll flex the bottom foot. We're actively pressing that into the mat. Hand can be on the hip or hand can be on the floor. You choose. And we'll point up, flex back. Point up, flex back. Point up, flex back. Point up, flex back. And flex back. Lengthening out. Good. And 3, and 2, and 1. Very nice. So, coming back up, we're going to do some work forward facing on our belly to mimic what we did standing up. So coming down, mat here just a little bit, so you can see me. Okay, so coming down, I want you to stack your hands in front of you and you're going to rest your forehead right on top of your hands so that we know that your head and neck are in alignment, and we're going to bend the knees and we'll flex the feet here as well. So resting head and neck, we're going to lift one foot up to the ceiling and then bring it down. And then we'll switch. So pressing your pelvis into the mat, lifting up and alternating. Up, lower down. Up, lower down. So keep going. Just like we did when we were standing, we did it on our sides, and now we're doing it on the floor. So pressing the pelvis into the mat will allow you to get a little bit of space and to lift up. Squeezing the glutes and the hamstrings, using the low back. Now just stay on one leg. So lift and lower, lift and lower. And 4, 3, 2, 1. Switch sides, other leg, and up. Kind of like you're making a footprint up to the ceiling. And lift, and lift, and lift, and lift. 2, 1. Now we'll do a little bit more for the low back here. We'll bring the hands in front, kind of goalpost arms, knees are bent. We'll lift up, we'll lower down. Pressing the belly into the mat, head and neck in alignment. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Coming back down, coming back up, kind of bringing those knees coming into that tabletop, sitting back on your heels, walking the hands back. Good, slowly coming back up. So we have a little bit more time. We'll do a little bit more standing work. And coming on up, you can use your sturdy chair or your bar again. Kind of get my mat out of the way. Okay, so coming back to your bar. So finding just something sturdy, whether it's the bar, the chair, it could be, you know, I have a table here too, you could hold on to that too. Just something that'll give you a little bit of support. So for this next one, we're going to take it out to the side for a lift, bring it back, we'll go forward. So we're pointing on the extension and we'll flex on the way back. So our stable leg, the knee is soft, and we're trying not to kind of fold to do a kick and lean to do a kick. So the range of motion is only as far as you can do in keeping the torso kind of still. So point and lengthen. Good. I didn't do my point on that one. Good. And point, flex back. Point, flex back. Keeping that stable leg soft. Point, flex back. Point, flex back. Point, flex back. Point, flex back. And now we'll just pulse it in one direction. Still getting a little bit taller in the crown of the head here. We'll bring it back and we'll pulse in the other direction. Bring it forward and pulse. Bring it back, pulse. Good, forward, pulse. Keeping that knee soft. There you go. And forward, pulse. Starts to kick in a little bit. That's the nice thing about it, right? Sneaks up on you. Good, and out. Couple more. And up and out. Very good. Let's switch sides. So carefully we'll point forward and we'll point to the side. Hand can be on your hip, or you can kind of soften that arm out to the side too, kind of like we did earlier when we were on the bar. As long as that shoulder blade's down. Good. And out. So pointing out, flexing back. Point out. Oh, I just hit the table, sorry. Point out. Let's see if you can see my foot. Point, flex. Point, flex. Flex. Ooh, sorry. I have to pay attention to the time so I don't go over 30 minutes. And now we'll add kind of a pulse. We'll take it forward. So forward pulse and out pulse. Take it forward pulse. Good. Still lengthening up. Imagine you're trying to take the crown of the head towards the ceiling. Watch your grip on the sturdy surface that you're holding onto, the bar or the chair. Good. And come back. Kind of walk in place here a little bit. So using a little more balance here, we'll switch sides. So we're going to hinge forward on that sturdy leg. So I have my right hand on the bar, my weight will be on my right foot. I'm going to take the left foot back and I'm going to hinge down, and I kind of move my hand down the bar on the chair, hinge forward, and then slowly come back. Think about lengthening the leg back, still keeping that knee soft. You can bring the arm out to the side. Head and neck in alignment. Squaring the hips and the shoulders towards the floor. Slowly coming back. 3. Good. And 2, try to keep the shoulders away from the ears. And 1. Good. Switching sides. Arm out. Hinging forward at the hips. Again, hips and shoulders square to the floor in front. Slowly coming back, drawing the shoulders away from the ears. Three, 2, and 1. Good. Carefully pushing that off to the side here. Coming back. So we'll do a few stretches here just to lengthen out a little bit. Feet just outside hip width apart. Bring the arms up. Reaching up. Bringing it back down. Bring the chin towards the chest. Pull those shoulders down. Lift up. And lift down. Pull up. And we'll take one arm down, kind of leaning to that side there, opening up in the rib cage a little bit. Bring it back up. Let's go the other side. Back up. Other side. Back up. Other side. Back up. And bring both hands down. So good job today, everybody. Thank you for practicing very beginner bar and very beginner Pilates with me today. Hope you have a nice day. Enjoy the sunshine. And don't forget to check out all the great videos on the Beacon website. Thanks. Have a good day.